Look at us celebrating while he does all the work.
Well, someone has to clean this place up afterwards.
The laughter died in Richard Blackwood's throat as he stared at the document in front of him. The property he'd just mockingly offered to buy from the lowly maintenance man actually belonged to that very same man, the quiet single father who had been silently observing his arrogance for weeks. If you've ever wanted to see justice served with perfect timing, stick around until the end of this incredible true story. And if you're enjoying what you see, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more amazing stories of unexpected twists and life-changing moments. Marcus Jenkins wiped the sweat from his brow as he finished mowing the expansive lawn of Willow Creek Estate. The summer heat was unforgiving, but he needed the money. As a single father raising 10-year-old Emma after his wife's death 3 years ago, he took whatever work he could find. The irony wasn't lost on him, maintaining the grounds of the very estate that was rightfully his, all while biding his time for the perfect moment to reveal the truth. The sprawling mansion with its manicured gardens and Olympic-sized swimming pool had been in his family for generations. But a series of unfortunate events and a questionable legal maneuver had temporarily placed it in the hands of Richard Blackwood, a tech entrepreneur who flaunted his wealth at every opportunity. What Richard didn't know was that Marcus had spent the last 2 years quietly working with a lawyer to reclaim what was rightfully his. "Hey, gardener!" Richard called out from the terrace, champagne glass in hand. He was entertaining guests, other wealthy entrepreneurs who laughed too loudly and looked down on people like Marcus. "The hedges on the east side need trimming. See to it before you leave." Marcus nodded respectfully, swallowing his pride. "Yes, sir. Right away." Richard turned to his guests with a smirk. "Good help is so hard to find these days. This one's reliable enough, though he looks like he could use the money." The group erupted in laughter, unaware that the man they were mocking had more claim to the estate than any of them. Back at his modest apartment that evening, Marcus helped Emma with her homework. Despite their financial struggles, he made sure she never went without the essentials. Their small 2-bedroom apartment was clean and comfortable, filled with photos of Emma's mother, Sarah. "Dad, why do you work for that mean man?" Emma asked, her innocent eyes looking up from her math problems. Marcus smiled gently. "Sometimes, sweetheart, you have to be patient to get what you deserve. Mr. Blackwood isn't a bad person, he just doesn't understand the value of what he has." "Is this about Mom's house?" Emma asked. She was young when Sarah died, but she remembered the beautiful home where they once lived. "Yes, honey. And soon, we might be able to go back there. But remember what I always tell you. What matters isn't where we live, but that we're together," Emma finished with a smile. Marcus kissed the top of her head. "That's my girl." The next morning, Marcus received a call from his lawyer, Diana Chen. "Marcus, we've got it. The court has recognized the falsified documents. The property is legally yours again. I've prepared all the paperwork, we can serve it whenever you're ready." Marcus closed his eyes, relief washing over him. 2 years of working on the estate, watching Richard Blackwood throw lavish parties and treat the place with casual disregard, was about to end. "Let's do it tomorrow. He's hosting some kind of business meeting." "Are you sure?" "That seems a bit dramatic," Diana cautioned. "I've earned a little drama," Marcus replied with a rare smile. The following day, Richard was hosting potential investors for his newest tech venture. The meeting was being held in the Grand Library of Willow Creek Estate, with floor-to-ceiling bookshelves and antique furniture that had been in Marcus's family for generations. Marcus arrived for work as usual but brought Emma with him. It was a teacher workday at school, and he wanted her to be present for this moment. He dressed them both in their best clothes, nothing fancy, but clean and presentable. "Why is the gardener bringing a child to work?" one of the investors whispered as Marcus and Emma walked past the open doors of the library. Richard frowned. "Jenkins. A word, please." Marcus entered the library, holding Emma's hand. Diana Chen arrived moments later, briefcase in hand. "What is the meaning of this?" Richard demanded. "This is an important meeting. You can't bring your child to work, and who is this woman?" Marcus stood tall, his usual deference gone. "Mr. Blackwood, this is my daughter, Emma. And this is Diana Chen, my attorney." Richard's face registered confusion, then annoyance. "Your attorney? What is this, some kind of shakedown for more money? I already pay you above market rate." Diana stepped forward, opening her briefcase. "Mr. Blackwood, I'm here to inform you that the court has ruled in favor of my client, Marcus Jenkins. We have evidence proving that the documents transferring ownership of Willow Creek Estate from the Jenkins family to Blackwood Enterprises were falsified." The room fell silent. The investors exchanged uncomfortable glances. Richard laughed, a sharp, dismissive sound. "This is absurd. I purchased this property legally 3 years ago. From a man claiming to be Marcus's cousin with power of attorney after Sarah Jenkins's death," Diana continued. "That man was an imposter. The Real Timothy Jenkins died 5 years ago. We have death records, DNA evidence, and witness testimony confirming this." She handed Richard a thick folder of documents. "The court has ruled that the sale was fraudulent. Willow Creek Estate legally belongs to Marcus Jenkins and his daughter Emma, as the rightful heirs of the Jenkins family." Richard's face paled as he flipped through the documents. The evidence was irrefutable. His laughter from moments before had died in his throat, replaced by shock and disbelief. "This can't be right," he muttered. "I paid $7 million for this property." To a criminal who disappeared with the money, Marcus said quietly. "I've been trying to track him down for 3 years, while also gathering evidence to reclaim my family home." One of the investors stood up. "Richard, is this true? Did you not perform due diligence on this purchase?" Richard's composure cracked. "How was I supposed to know? The paperwork looked legitimate." "Because you rushed the purchase," Marcus said. "You saw a grieving widower with a young daughter and thought you could get a prime piece of real estate at a bargain price. You never questioned why it was so much lower than market value." Emma squeezed her father's hand, looking around at the library with wide eyes. "Dad, are these all our books?" Marcus nodded. "Yes, sweetheart. Your grandfather collected them. And your mother used to read to you in that chair by the window when you were a baby." Richard's shock turned to anger. "So what now? You've been working here for months. Was this all some kind of game to you?" "No game," Marcus replied calmly. "I needed the income while the legal case proceeded. And I wanted to make sure the property was maintained properly until we could return." Diana handed Richard another document. "The court has ordered that you vacate the premises within 30 days. Any permanent fixtures you've added to the property will be assessed, and Mr. Jenkins may compensate you for their value if he chooses to keep them." The investors began gathering their things, the meeting clearly over. One of them approached Marcus. "Mr. Jenkins, I'm sorry for your loss and for this situation. If you're interested, I'd like to discuss potential investment opportunities for your property." "No pressure, of course." Marcus shook his head. "Thank you, but this is our home. It's not for sale or investment." As the room emptied, Richard remained seated, staring at the documents in disbelief. When only Marcus, Emma, and Diana remained, he finally looked up. "I've spent hundreds of thousands renovating this place," he said, his voice hollow. "I know," Marcus replied. "Some changes I agree with, others I don't. But this was never about money, Mr. Blackwood. This is about heritage and family." Richard stood slowly. "I'll have my lawyers review these documents. They'll find everything in order," Diana assured him. "The court's decision is final." As Richard moved to leave, Emma stepped forward. "Mr. Blackwood? I'm sorry you have to move. But maybe you can find another nice house. Richard looked down at the child, momentarily speechless at her innocence and compassion. Without responding, he walked out. In the following weeks, Marcus and Emma prepared to move back into Willow Creek Estate. Richard, after his lawyers confirmed the validity of the court ruling, vacated the property a week early, leaving everything immaculate but taking all personal belongings. On the day they moved in, Marcus carried Emma across the threshold, just as he had carried her mother years before. "Welcome home, sweetheart," he whispered. Emma ran through the halls, rediscovering spaces she barely remembered. "Dad! My old room still has the stars on the ceiling." Marcus smiled. Sarah had painted those glow-in-the-dark stars when Emma was just a baby. As they settled in, Marcus received an unexpected letter. It was from Richard Blackwood. "Mr. Jenkins," it read. "While I still believe I was wronged in this transaction, I recognize that you were wronged first. The man who sold me this property took advantage of your grief and my ambition. I've initiated legal proceedings against the banks and title companies that failed in their due diligence. Any recoveries will be forwarded to you, as you are the true victim. I've also enclosed information about a scholarship fund I've established in your late wife's name at the local elementary school. Your daughter seems like a remarkable child, and I suspect she takes after both her parents. Respectfully, Richard Blackwood." Enclosed was a check for $50,000, a fraction of what Richard had paid for the property, but a gesture nonetheless. 6 months later, Marcus hosted a neighborhood gathering at Willow Creek Estate, something the Jenkins family had done for generations before Richard's brief ownership. To his surprise, Richard Blackwood was among the guests. "I wasn't sure you'd come," Marcus said when they found themselves alone by the garden fountain. Richard shrugged. "I've learned some humility these past months. Losing this place forced me to reevaluate what matters." "And what did you discover?" Marcus asked. "That I was chasing status, not happiness," Richard admitted. "I've downsized. Bought a reasonable house closer to my parents. Started a foundation focusing on property rights and fraud prevention." Marcus nodded appreciatively. "That's commendable. Your daughter invited me, actually," Richard said with a small smile. "She sent a handwritten note saying the fountain had been fixed and she thought I might like to see it." Marcus laughed. "That sounds like Emma. She remembers you mentioned once that it was your favorite feature of the estate." "She's observant," Richard said. "And kind, despite how I treated you both." "Children often see the best in people," Marcus replied. "It's a quality adults would do well to remember." As the evening progressed, guests noticed something remarkable: the former adversaries engaged in genuine conversation. Two men from different worlds, brought together by circumstance, finding common ground in their shared experience of the same beloved property. Emma, watching from the terrace, smiled at the sight. She'd lost her mother, nearly lost her family home, but somehow gained something unexpected: a lesson in forgiveness and the knowledge that people could change, could grow beyond their mistakes. Years later, when Emma Jenkins graduated from college with honors, two men sat proudly in the audience: her father Marcus, and Richard Blackwood, who had become an unlikely family friend and mentor. The story of Willow Creek Estate became local legend: how a wealthy man's laughter turned to shock when he discovered the quiet maintenance worker was the true owner all along. But the real story, the one that mattered, was about resilience, patience, and the unexpected ways that justice and redemption can transform lives. As Marcus often told Emma, what matters isn't where we live, but that we're together, and that we never forget to extend the same grace to others that we hope to receive ourselves. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more incredible true stories of justice, redemption, and the unexpected twists that life can bring. Remember, sometimes the most powerful person in the room isn't the one with the most money, it's the one with the most patience, integrity, and heart.